So, okay, let's watch one of these. I just want to see. These are the people that I think are still alive, aren't they? Or maybe this is older.
Can we do a sound check, please?
Three, two, one.
Okay, here we go.
See, these are pretty cool.
What are the medals for?
Actually, I might do this in another
Can't really
video.
see what they are.
I think I'm gonna do that in another video. So, and then maybe play survival. So, that's the end of this video. We beat the game. Really exciting. Thank you guys so much for watching. Come on this journey with me. I'm like I said, games like this just make me even more. I had a lot of fun, and it makes me even more excited for the future of VR. And with that, I don't have else to say. If you like VR and if you have VR, have a PC to play this on, and like World War II, get the game. It's a lot of fun. And with that, don't forget to comment, like, subscribe, and I've been George. Peace out. You betcha, I'm George. We just beat Medal of Honor. Now I am going to be going through they added some really cool content that includes some of the vets that fought in World War II. So we're just going to watch some of that in this video. And then after that, we'll probably play some survival and see how that goes. So yeah, this is me a relaxed video. If you'd like to kind of see the content they have at the end of World War II or Medal of Honor, Above and Beyond.
One of them is the Good Conduct Medal. And I say
Oops.
that was because they never caught me.
These guys you served with, or was it just a
No, I know all these guys.
One thing was clear when making the gallery for Medal of Honor Above and Beyond. We needed to include the voices and experiences of actual World War II veterans.
It's a Nazi flag that I liberated, signed by some of the men that served with me.
The Germans, they tried to get the plane and the glider to go down together. You could see the traces coming up at you, and you just hoped that it didn't hit you.
We were incredibly fortunate to find veterans who had great stories to tell.
We were on the front lines, and hell was breaking loose.
And their stories are as amazingly diverse as the people who fought in World War II.
Quand vous connaissez deux personnes, c'est une de trop. En 1942, la vie a commencé à devenir difficile.
1943.
The gallery dates back to the beginning of the Medal of Honor series.
39 when the world started.
In the original game, we included short mini documentaries that were made up entirely of archival footage.
1939 was, what are we at, 1921?
As we were going down, I could see the body of water.
When it came time to reboot the series, we decided to reimagine what we could do with the gallery.
Probably saved his life.
It quickly became a chance for us to give players a deeper understanding of what it was like for the real men and women who fought against Nazi Germany and Imperial Japan.
When you're aiming a gun at somebody, it's terrible.
The bombing and the shelling
So 80,
and the bursting.
82 years.
We'd work there doing
So these guys would have to be
Within the first few minutes, we lost so many men we were not
be
a
at least
combat
16
unit
fights,
anymore.
18, whatever they were.
We wanted players to step out of the game world and into the real war.
That's like 97 these people would be if they were 16,
To know
99
what it
if
was
they were
like to be there when it
actually fight in world and live that in war and live that long is kind of crazy.
Il y a 70 ans que j'essaie d'oublier ça.
I'm glad we got the right location.
Yes.
Yeah, okay.
What an honor to know these men and women. We took some of them back to their former battlefields in Europe.
Crazy.
You were there with us.
We went on trips with them to museums
about that.
where they were treated like rock stars. We visited the
The
memorials.
fact that this actually
dedicated
happened
to
is the
Second
craziest
World
thing,
War.
to be honest.
What do you think of this place?
It's fabulous.
I don't think I'll ever forget this day. Probably be my favorite day before I die.
It's crazy. These people put their life in line for
This is a group of
everything we
warriors,
value today.
of heroes,
Imagine if the
of
Nazis
true
would have actually won.
characters. And now we're in the twilight of this mighty generation.
Honestly, like it's unimaginable how the world would have been different. And they weren't too far away from
They
it.
sat down for countless interviews, traveled thousands of miles with a camera crew in tow, and revisited the most harrowing times of their lives. And they did it for you, They did it so you would understand what they went through, so you would know the tragedies they endured and the sacrifices they made. They share their stories for this one reason, so you would remember.
It's crazy, honestly. How many of these are there? Why is my hand tracking off? Like, honestly, it's not tracking right now. There we go. So the vets, should we, how many should these, I don't know how long they are. Let's watch a few of them, I guess. They put all this work into it.
Yeah, I want to show you some really cool stuff because we were able to trace part of your tank movements through the Hartz Mountains. You ready?
Yeah.
You ever see one of these before? So this is what you call a VR headset.
Oh, and
That
I was
sounds
wondering
nice.
if they'd play
Put it on as if you're wearing goggles.
You're gonna mess up both my heads?
Do you see anything?
Oh, yes. Oh, boy. Let me go back this way. That is a typical road of the Hartz Mountains.
So that's where we're at now.
Yeah. See a nice road ahead. And then I see in the distance it's winding to the right. All of these roads are twisty and windy.
Okay. Am I supposed to do anything?
Just as I remembered them. Really incredible.
I'm watching, but it keeps moving me.
Seeing this is bringing back a memory.
So, like, one thing you never hear
April
from vets.
1945. We just started out.
We were trying our best to follow the main road. All of a sudden, out from behind one of these huge trees, jumps a young kid, couldn't be more than 10, screaming at us, "I'm Jewish, I'm Jewish." He had a big smile on his face as he saw the star on our tank. Our lieutenant looked down at him and explained we were on a mission. We could not stop.
I still remember that little kid looking at us drive away and that
Surprised they didn't bring him with
forlorn
them.
look on his face. And I just wonder whatever happened to him.
Like if I were in the tank now, that tree is exactly where the young boy would have been standing.
I think the most moving thing about being with World War II veterans was we were able to experience them coming to terms with moments that had stayed with them long after the war ended. We always felt lucky to be with them on this journey into the past.
The first vehicle I ever drove in my life was a 30-ton Sherman tank.
I mean, here was a kid from the Bronx who volunteered as a 17-year-old to fight in the war. And he ends up liberating a slave labor camp near the city of Nordhausen, Germany.
We knocked down that gate.
The problem was, Gil couldn't remember exactly where that gate was. And there were nearly 40 different camps in the vicinity of Nordhausen. And we really wanted to bring him back to that exact spot. So before bringing Gil back to Germany, as we did with all of our vets, we researched his story in the archives, and we researched it on the ground in Europe.
There was a concentration camp in the city of Nordhausen. Maybe this was the spot that Gil saw. I don't know if we're ever going to be able to figure it out.
Just around this high, here's a little the Fluss, Zorge.
This gate here, is it possible that
Yeah. World War II, it was.
So what determined whether you came to the forced labor camp?
Can you just show us this gate here?
It still exists, this entrance.
We ran our research by a local historian, and eureka! I think Gil's gonna be shocked that we actually found this spot.
There are things that happen out here that nobody should experience. That's why wars have to be fought by the young. We don't know better.
To think.
So Gil, can you tell us again about when you came across the slave labor camp?
As we were coming down the road, I was inside the tank, standing up, looking out of my hatch. We were going down, and we made a left turn.
That's the left turn right here. That's the road your tank went down.
Let's go. This is amazing. This is a spot, and they had two gates that we sort of pushed through. I remember going through the gate and seeing Nazi banners, and I took those banners down from this very spot. Why does that stick with me after all these years? Hasn't left my mind at all. I think about it all the time.
It's crazy. See, vets never want to. I've never really talked to vet because they never really seem to want to talk about it just because they don't want to.
I don't get emotional, but I am
Anybody
emotional
experiencing what they've
at
gone
this
through,
moment.
but they don't even want to
After
relive it
all,
and talk about it all.
73 years ago, it was an 18-year-old
So that's why this is so
kid.
cool. 18-year-old. Crazy. This one done. That's them. It's not even tracking my hands anymore. Oh. Sounds done, I think. Should we watch some more, I guess?
That was here. I really never did think that my actions had an impact on others. This is the area. But being back here, I feel now I really help people.
Is this all about Gil? Thought I was watching The Promise.
On their first day in battle, David Marshall and his friend Smitty made a pact.
This guy is narrating it.
If one of them died, The other would visit the dead soldier's parents. 75 years later, David wants Smitty to know he kept the promise.
Okay, I don't know what's going on, why it's not playing them all. These are
Below
teasers?
this curve in the road, I believe. Right up here.
Is this the main one? Not really sure.
After the war, my thought was, you promised him, you owe it to him. It's an obligation. And I've got to live up to the obligation.
Herzlich willkommen,
Thank you.
David.
Yes. And you?
I'm very happy. I'm Ines.
Ines, yes.
I live here with my family. I make this moment for you.
This is very nice.
Yeah?
Yeah.
Good. Wow. We go?
Yes.
Okay. We have animals. Yes, we have.
I don't know what you would think because my best friend.
Yeah, I heard. I heard.
It was a hard battle that day. This is the place, yes.
This is the place.
Yes.
You feel good?
Yeah. Yeah.
Crazy.
There was so much being fired here that day. It has to be in the ground. Yeah. Okay. Okay. That's a piece of shrapnel.
That's a piece of shrapnel.
I saw the body there. But there was nothing I could do. He wasn't wounded, so I couldn't treat him. And the shells were falling, and I had to keep moving. He was on his knees, and his head was down. You want me to show you? He was hit and died instantly. Before the battle, Smitty and I went out for a little walk just to talk and calm down. He says to me, look, if something happens to me, you've got to go visit my parents. I said, there's no way in hell would I do this. I didn't think at that point anything was going to happen to either one of us. He says, you've got to promise me, you've got to go visit my parents.
All those graves. Crazy.
I went and saw your parents. I did what you asked. They were lovely. Wanted to know all about you, what happened, how it happened. And we had a very nice meeting. It was my honor to do this. And Smitty, I've thought about you often over the years. What a shame, what a shame. God rest your soul and rest in peace.
Is that... Let's not go to Schmitty's grave. So... I don't know. Maybe watch one more. I kind of want to see some real... I'm going to check out this Normandy one. I've never seen quite like this.
At the D-Day site in Normandy, there's a point of land overlooking the English Channel that still bears the remarkable ruins and scars of battle. It was the largest amphibious operation in history. The landing of 156,000 Allied troops on 5 massively fortified beaches. Concrete remains of German defenses tell a tale. So do the gaping craters, left behind by aerial bombing. And the 100-foot-high cliffs that had to be scaled against all odds.
Crazy.
Allied commanders knew the D-Day troops would be facing unimaginable German firepower.
I thought it was a beach, not cliffs.
But the date had been set.
Probably was at some
now
points.
Or never for the Allies to invade France.
Just get over the big ship. Let's look at some of these other landmarks.
On D-Day, U.S. Army Rangers scaled 100-foot cliffs to seize artillery that could have fired on troops landing at Omaha and Utah beaches.
Is that it? What about Omaha?
Omaha Beach is where Allied troops stormed the coast of France on June 6, 1944. Facing extreme fire from Nazi troops stationed on the cliffs above.
So this doesn't look like as far as I thought it would be. VR probably kind of distorts it a little bit, but still. I thought the beach would be a lot longer. I suppose. Be a lot easier to get getting down that close. Let's go inside of a bunker. Keep hitting the wrong button.
There is an island in the Baltic Sea where German scientists of World War II developed weapons beyond anything the world had ever seen. The top secret lab was the Peenemünde Army Research Center. The monstrous weapon was the V2 rocket. It was the world's first ever long-range ballistic missile, 6 times faster than the speed of sound.
Jeez.
Each carrying nearly a ton of explosives. Over 3,000 V2s terrorized, killed, and maimed.
Oh wow, so they launched over 3,000?
Today, the ruins of Peenemünde are off limits to the public. Unexploded Allied bombs litter the landscape. Nature has tried to reclaim the former Nazi weapons site. But the history that happened here can never be erased.
Interesting.
Test Stand 7's fire deflection pit deterred flames from V2 rocket engine tests. It is now a quiet reminder of an explosive past.
Let's watch this healer one. See how long it is.
This is a smoking ceremony. Our way of trying to communicate with the souls of the people we are praying for. I perform it every year on the 6th of June at 6:30 in the morning, because that was the time that we landed. We were the first troops to land on the beach.
The healer, huh? So that story of Andrew Garfield I heard is actually real, where he healed all those people on the ridge of one of the Japanese islands.
It's really good to be over here to see you. You know, it's been years. The trip over was really good.
It's an honor for me.
Oh.
As you know, I would like somebody to carry on the smoking ceremony. I'm getting to the point where I know that I am approaching my last days, and I want to get things settled.
I'm very humbled that you asked me to take this over for you and to honor the men and the women that passed here.
I can think of nobody better than you, first leader of the Penobscot Indian Nation, and I would like you to accept the torch that I would like to pass on to you.
Well, I would do that with all honors, Uncle. You know, so thank you.
Okay, good. I'm happy to hear that.
Yeah.
Omaha Beach, France.
I'm forever grateful for my Uncle Charles to ask me to take care of the ceremony that takes place here every year.
Normandy is like a district, whereas Omaha Beach is like
Gratitude is beyond words.
actual beach they landed on.
The legacy of it. It continues on.
I thought he would have actually told a story rather than just passing the torch.
What a true honor to meet you. And as a representative of the 1st Infantry Division.
Brandon General.
I am, yes. So.
This is the schedule for this morning. You are just after Charles.
Okay. I got a lot of relatives that fought in this war. So you begin to think about those people, what they experienced, what my uncle experienced.
I talked to Senator King from your state, and he was thrilled that I was going to be able to meet you. So this is just a small token of my appreciation.
Oh, yes.
Just add that to your collection. I'd be very honored.
Thank you very much.
Even though the 500-year history of the atrocities against our own people, we still came here to stand for freedom, because we know what it's like to lose that.
Crazy.
We are gathered here to ensure that the great sacrifices made by Native American nations in the Second World War are no longer ignored and never forgotten. Indian warriors helped liberate the French nation from Nazi occupation, but the price was high and paid in blood. Today, I am perhaps the last Native American survivor of bloody Omaha.
During this part of the ceremony, we're going to ask that once they start, that there are no photos.
I had never experienced combat before. The firepower that was coming at me from all angles. There's not much that you could do about that. But I found a spot and I was treating the wounded there. Bandaging broken arms or broken legs.
Crazy.
I was under machine gun fire and I could see the bullets hitting into the sand around my feet, but they did not hit me. I knew that my mother must be praying for me. I attribute my survival to my mother's prayers. I believe very seriously that the souls of the men killed on Omaha Beach are still walking. In the smoking ceremony, I can converse with these men. I try to assure them that they are not forgotten.
Our people as Native Americans, that's how we live. We live by prayer. A culture that has been handed down to us from generation to generation.
We should probably just watch each of the people's features. Kind of figured, I guess. There should be only a few left anyways.
The last time I was here was in June of 1944. I was 20 and a half years old. Didn't have any idea what was in store for us. You just went with the flow, not knowing what could happen.
Flying coffin, huh?
The glider I was on, it held 26 troops. A C-47 cargo plane towed the glider. We didn't know how safe it was going to be because it was so light.
Airborne Division.
We made it okay, except for the crash landing. No, what's that? Right.
Little glider. Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
I'm very proud to welcome you.
Thank you.
Yes.
Back home again. Word came from the warrant officer up front to be prepared for a crash. We all laughed a little bit. How much can we be prepared? As we were going down, I could see the body of water. We hit that embankment. It caught the center of the glider. It split the glider in half. I was thrown out of that tail, landed on my left-hand side, hurting my wrist. But I was able to move, so I got right up. You didn't have the time to check around and see who was dead. They wanted you to move on into the war.
J'ai vu de vos camarades qui ont tombé ici dans les planeurs de cette ville-là.
We saw your mates falling in gliders,
right.
And a lot of men died.
So an American soldier knocked at Eve's father's door to say we need men to help us to bury our soldiers. So Eve started to dig.
Tous les soldats américains morts étaient tous enveloppés dans des parachutes.
All the American soldiers who were dead were wrapped into the parachute. With an American truck, they were going around the area to collect the dead bodies, putting the body very well organized.
6000 morts dans le cimetière.
In the cemetery in front of his house, there were 6,000 dead. He was not even 17.
J'ai vieilli 10 ans.
And on these few days, he aged 10 years.
Oh, Jesus.
C'est de voir ce qu'était le drame de la guerre.
To see the drama of war.
Oui. Et vous êtes encore là aujourd'hui et moi aussi.
And you're still here today and he's here today.
And you were there with us. You were there with us.
Mais vous étiez là-bas avec eux.
Oui,
Vous
j'étais
étiez là
avec
avec
eux.
vous.
Oui.
Avec eux.
Thank you. Thank you very much. When I got out of the service, I never spoke of my World War II experience. It's not that I forgot about it. I kept it to myself. But this trip, it made me feel like I did something worthwhile. Puts a lot to rest.
It's crazy. Wonder what happened after that to him, though. Looks like maybe we have 3 more. What is this? The enemy? Is there a surviving German?
Ich habe gekämpft für eine schlechte Sache. Als Angehöriger der Nazi-Wehrmacht. Und deshalb versuche ich, die heutigen Menschen zu warnen, es darf nicht wieder passieren.
Ich heiße Gerhard Gothe. Ich bin 96 Jahre alt und ich will euch heute erzählen, was ich damals gemacht habe, als ich so alt war, wie ihr jetzt seid.
Surprised they made one of these.
Als Hitler an die Macht kam, war ich ein Kind. Die Nazis haben damals gleich Propaganda gemacht. Wir Kinder sollten alle mit in die Hitlerjugend rein. Meine Mutter war dagegen. Aber mein älterer Bruder und ich, wir haben sie immer bedrängt. Mutti, wir möchten ja auch mit. Bei uns ist es so langweilig. Da ist was los. Die machen Sportveranstaltungen, an den Wochenenden machen die Wanderungen. Dürfen wir nicht auch? Hat sie endlich gesagt, na gut, wenn ihr wollt, dann geht er. Das war meine erste Erfahrung mit dem Nationalsozialismus. Als der Krieg anfing, dachte ich, hoffentlich geht das schnell, ohne große Kämpfe. Und dachte, dass mich persönlich das nicht betreffen würde. Aber im Oktober 1940 wurde ich eingezogen zur Nazi-Wehrmacht. Ich war in den ersten Jahren ausschließlich an der Ostfront eingesetzt, als Geschützführer und dann Unteroffizier, überwiegend am Blockadering von Leningrad. Und wie schlimm es den Leuten, den Menschen in Leningrad ging, dass 800.000 Menschen erfroren sind, verhungert sind.
oder durch deutsche Granaten getötet wurden. Darüber sprachen wir nicht.
Ich schäme mich dafür, dass wir kein Mitleid hatten mit den Menschen in Leningrad.
Als ich 1944 als Offizier mal ein paar Tage in Berlin war, sprach mich meine Mutter an. Die arbeitete als Hilfsarbeiter in einem Betrieb und sagte, bei uns waren bis vor kurzem Juden, die mit so einem gelben
Oh,
Stern,
really? Wow.
jetzt sind die nicht mehr da. Und es geht so das Gerücht, dass die irgendwo weggeschafft werden und vergast werden. Weißt du was darüber? Hat meine Mutter mich gefragt. Sag ich kann mir das nicht vorstellen.
Dachte man nicht, das wusste man nicht, wollte man auch nicht wissen. Da mitzumachen, ohne zu erkennen, welche furchtbaren Leiden wir der Bevölkerung angefügt haben, das spielte in unseren Gedanken keine Rolle und darüber schäme ich mich. Ist ja nicht zu entschuldigen. Deutschland hat damit ein Verbrechen begangen, Millionen Menschen ermordet.
Man muss dafür sorgen, dass die nächsten Generationen gegen Nationalsozialismus und gegen jeden Krieg sind. Das ist meine persönliche Mission. Dafür will ich mich einsetzen, solange ich lebe.
Crazy. As far as they got German. Oh, okay. That was a long one, but it was also, I think it was good to see. I think that's all I'm gonna watch. Maybe I'll play Survival another time. I think it's a little too late for that now. So, but thank you so much for watching. I hope you enjoyed going on that journey with me. It was really cool to see, just what these people have gone through. The veterans and people that survived that time. So, anyways, thank you so much for watching. I've been George. If you like this video, don't forget to comment, like, subscribe, and until next time, peace out.